Well, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi has reiterated that the planting of the AmaZulu King Goodwill Zwelithini will be tomorrow night. It will be a private ceremony. President Cyril Ramaphosa will be among those attending the memorial service on Thursday. Sipamandla Goge is following developments for us. He joins us now from outside the Royal Palace. So, Sipamandla, with so many people visiting the King's home, are there no fears that it could be a super spreader event?
Indeed, those fears are there, and the Royal House family members are concerned about that, but also government authorities are worried about that possibility. Hence, they are doing everything they could to try and discourage people from coming here to Gwaketo Mthandayo Royal Palace in Kwanongoma to pay their last respects. Before we proceed with that, let me tell you that we have just heard from the traditional Prime Minister of the Zulu Nation, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, basically reiterating what will happen from tomorrow up until Thursday, where there will be that official memorial service. So he was basically emphasizing the fact that the king will be interred, or his remains will be interred on Thursday. Now, there was a confusion about Wednesday night and Thursday. That emanates from the fact that in terms of the Zulu culture, tradition and practice, that will have to be done from midnight on Wednesday to about 2 a.m. on Thursday. So during that period, that's where the confusion came in to say, is it Wednesday night or Thursday? So Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi outlining the fact that, you know, from midnight to whatever time that they will conclude that event, it will only be conducted by men only. And of course, here we have seen different usage of terminology. Some people prefer to use the term that the king will be planted. Well, in the cultural and Zulu context, that simply means that when you plant something, something will come up and then it will grow up. So there is that widely held view that when the king is planted, another one will rise. And then some prefer to use the term that the king's remains will be interred. But authorities and the Royal House family members are really concerned about the number of people coming in here to pay their respects. Today we have seen more than 100 people coming in here. Of course, they were being allowed inside in a controlled manner. They are being sanitized here, but it's difficult to keep social distancing here. And we have seen various leaders of political parties coming to pay their respects today. But let's listen to the acting minister in the presidency warning about this not becoming a super spreader event.
I think you will all recall that during his lifetime, the king was very particular about upholding the protocols of COVID-19. Even when there were deaths within the royal family, the king made sure that the protocols of COVID-19 were upheld, and the family understands that, and they are cooperating with us. We are working very well to make sure that those protocols are observed to the best of our ability. Of course, our relationship with the royal household does not start today. It is a long working relationship, and because we have been working together, we know what are the protocols that have to be followed, and we know the majority of people were born in the lifetime of His Majesty, and therefore they want to send their condolences. They want to do a send-off despite the protocols that are in place. And we continue to work with the family, we continue to work with the provincial government, but we're also pleading with the communities to make sure that the send-off of His Majesty does not become a super spreader event, because the Majesty will not rest in peace if we use his send-off to become a super spreader event. So we are working very well with the family.
And the Deputy President, David Mabuza, also visiting today. What's he saying?
He has described the departed monarch as a man of peace. But before I tell you more about what he said, if my memory serves me well, I hope I was able to hear Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi very well. If he said the will of the late AmaZulu King Zwelithini Goodwill Zulu will be read out on Thursday during a memorial service. Now, it is widely believed that that will do two things. It's either that will name a successor, or someone who will act in the throne while the royal family members are still deciding on what will happen with succession. But let's go back to your question now. Deputy President Didi Mabuza was one of the leaders who came here to pay their respects, describing the departed monarch as a man of peace, someone who was a straight talker really. But Didi Mabuza was not the only one who came here. There was also Minister of Agriculture, Togo Didiza, who has worked well with the king over a number for a very long time, and also she paid her tribute. But let's start with the Deputy President and listen to what he said.
All of us are saddened by the passing away of the King. We are here on behalf of the President and Cabinet to convey our condolences to the royal family and to the Zulu nation as a whole.
What legacy is he leaving behind? How would you remember him?
Oh, a very good king, a very joyous someone, always happy, a straightforward someone. If he doesn't like something, he will tell you.
He was very passionate about his community, the society of our country as a whole, not just the Zulu nation. He was more passionate about development and seeing, our country develop, but particularly people of his province and of his nation. He was somebody who was very, as a leader, was able to guide, to intervene when there were difficult times. I come from KwaZulu-Natal, I come from Hammarsdale, one township that was ravaged by violence for many years. And there was a time at which the king stood out, called for peace amongst the warring parties in this province. And he was very, I would say, as a leader of our society, has been able to participate even in this latest pandemic that we're facing. He has been able to give words of guidance and how people must respect the protocols that government has put in place in order to save lives of themselves, but also of the entire nation.